Hello there. This is a special broadcast on the Supreme Court verdict on the abrogation of Article 370, and the hearing has just concluded. The verdict has been pronounced that the Supreme Court has ordered the center to restore the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir as soon as possible, and also conduct elections, general elections in Jammu and Kashmir by September 30th of 2024, which is next year. Now, Supreme Court, hearing on something which was signed up by the president, said that they don't sit on the president's judgment, and the abrogation of Article 370 by a presidential decree passed through both the houses of the parliament was legitimate. It was valid. This adds onus and weightage to what the center had decided upon 4 years ago. In 2019, 5th of September, when the verdict, when Home Minister Amit Shah had announced in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha later also that the special status of Jammu and Kashmir will be revoked and stands revoked. It was challenged by a lot of sections of society, citing the reasons that how it impacts the validity, legitimacy of the order, also citing historical reasons why Jammu Kashmir needs special status. It had the status for at least nearly 70 years, but why revoke it now? That was the question. Supreme Court had set this date of 11th of December 2023 for the hearing in the case, and today the verdict has come in as many words, where the CJI, Chief Justice of India, Justice Chandrachud, spoke about the reorganization of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, and that was followed by the revocation of Article 370. That was in 2019. CJI says that in the view of center's submission that the union territory status is temporary, the court doesn't find it necessary to determine if the reorganization into UTs is valid. The reorganization of Ladakh as UT is upheld. Also, the Supreme Court directed for the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, and that it should take place at the earliest. Steps shall be taken by the Election Commission of India to conduct elections to the Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir by September 30th, 2024. So, what are the takeaways? The takeaways are that Ladakh remains a union territory, so no elections would happen there. But Jammu and Kashmir statehood would be restored, and there would be general elections there, assembly elections. So that would also involve the entry of demarcation. We have to delimitation. We have to also figure the aspect that the delimitation board has submitted its report for Jammu and Kashmir. New boundaries as far as the assembly constituencies are concerned, they will be drawn. And very recently, we heard Home Minister also, he was speaking about the number of seats, 24 in the POK, by the way. Also, since POK is an integral part of India, so that allocation of seats have already been done. Now, the constituency-wise delimitation would be done, and that would be something that the center would be working on. The Election Commission has been directed to conduct elections by 30th September of 2024, which is pretty, I would say, a welcome step as far as bringing Jammu and Kashmir into the mainstream is concerned. The CGI also said that Article 370 is a temporary provision on a reading of the historical context in which it was included, and it served the transitional purpose to provide for an interim arrangement till the Jammu and Kashmir Constituent Assembly could be formed and it could ratify the Indian Constitution. Second, it served as a purpose in the warlike situation prevailing in the state. So, Chief Justice has not pointed fingers at the very decision of taking or revoking Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir. He said that it was required and it was a warlike situation in the state, and hence it was required. And secondly, it was a temporary provision, and the statehood would be restored as soon as the grounds are ready, which is the elections, and the delimitation is also part of it. And the moment the constitutional validity, constitutional connectivity is established, the the state should be, the Jammu and Kashmir should be given the designation of the state. Supreme Court said here that the abrogation of Article 370, it served the transitional purpose to provide for an interim arrangement till the Jammu and Kashmir Constituent Assembly could be formed and it could ratify the Indian Constitution. Second, it served a purpose in the warlike situation prevailing in the state. Quite remarkable, judgment there when it comes to the abrogation of Article 370. The CJI, in his opinion, he basically does not agree that Jammu and Kashmir enjoyed a unique relationship with the Indian Constitution. He says that the Jammu and Kashmir Constitution does not indicate an element of sovereignty. It was only to further the relationship with the Union, which was already defined under Article 370 and the proclamation of Yuvraj Karan Singh. The fact that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India is evidence in Section 3 of the Jammu and Kashmir Constitution itself, apart from Article 1 and 370 of the Indian Constitution. Article 1 of the Indian Constitution says, Indian, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. Further, Article 3 of Jammu and Kashmir Constitution reads that the state and the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir is and shall be an integral part of the Union of India. The state's constitution also provides that this provision cannot be amended. This particular aspect was something that the police were banking on, that the constitution of Jammu and Kashmir, the Constituent Assembly, was of the opinion that the very fabric of Jammu and Kashmir cannot be amended or altered. That's why there was a uproar over the abrogation of Article 370. More so, the Supreme Court also observed that the CJI said that the argument of the petitioners that the Union cannot take irrevocable actions in case of President's rule is not acceptable. On the subject of J&K sovereignty, Chief Justice Chandrachud reiterated that J&K did not retain any sovereignty after accession to India, even though Maharaj Hari Singh issued a proclamation saying he would retain his sovereignty. His successor, Karan Singh, proclaimed that the Indian Constitution would prevail over all other laws in the state. So that was the change, basically, that had happened back then itself, in 1948, 1949. In essence, this has the effect of a merger like every other princely state that joined India after the independence of British colonial rule. CJI Chandrachud also said that Jammu and Kashmir holds no internal sovereignty after the accession to India. While there are limitations to President's actions after the proclamation of President's rule, in this case, they are valid. The President and Parliament are not impeded to take over as governor or state legislature after the proclamation of President's rule under Article 356. He adds, there was no prima facie on the face of it case that the president's order were malafide in bad faith, which means, or extraneous exercise of power, the Chief Justice of India said. Now, the whole idea of bringing Jammu and Kashmir as of now, when September of 5th of September 2019, when the verdict, when it was announced that this special status has been removed, and after President's proclamation, it came into power. Jammu and Kashmir became, the special status was taken, and it was a union territory till then. But having said that, Supreme Court today said that it cannot, say, and there is no evidence also that the President's orders were in any way in bad faith. They were not malafide or extraneous exercise of power. So these were the pointers that were highlighted in the pleas, and hence it was conveyed to the Chief Justice and his office that these are the reasons why they should rather be allowed to question the very decision to uh, abrogate Article 370 and remove the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. Today, as we said, there have been two uh, important things that have been mentioned as of now. The first one on the top of the screen says restore Jammu and Kashmir statehood. This is what the Supreme Court has told the center. And also Supreme Court has directed the Election Commission of India to conduct assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir by September 30th, 2024. A big decision, needless to say, because this also involves, as far as the uh, the delimitation process is concerned. Remember, delimitation process in Jammu and Kashmir has already been completed, and the board has also submitted its report uh, to the center. Now it has to be looked at how and when it is being implemented. Disappointed but not disheartened. The struggle will continue. It took the BJP decades to reach here. We are also prepared for the long haul. Umar Abdullah has put this tweet out on X, formerly known as Twitter, and he's saying that he's disappointed but not disheartened. The struggle will continue. It took BJP decades to reach here. We are also prepared for the long haul. In a way, he has given a backhand compliment to the Bharatiya Janata Party, saying that the party took a lot of time to reach at this pinnacle where it stands as of now, with back-to-back successes in 3 states, maintaining 2 terms of power at the center, and also to reach Jammu and Kashmir. So he is saying that he is also there for a long haul, and they will continue with their what they call their struggle. This is Omar Abdullah as of now. A lot has been said in the court as well, and we have to wait and watch how the political parties respond to it as of now. Social media, abuzz with the activity. Justice Call also was part of the bench. He says that a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to probe human rights violations by state and non-state actors in Kashmir since 1980s. It's a ray of hope as far as the Kashmiri Hindus are concerned, and whether the center goes for it, a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, TRC as it is known, and this takes a cue from the South African apartheid days when, after the release of Nelson Mandela from jail in 1990, um, a Truth and Reconciliation Commission was formed in order to find closure for the families who lost their loved ones. And Nelson Mandela always said that there is no point, once the black community got the voting power and equal rights, he said we have to have a society which includes both the blacks, the white, and the colored, and hence it's called a rainbow nation, and that notion has to be maintained. But it was not enough. People wanted closure. What happened with Kashmiri Pandits also in Jammu and Kashmir needs a closure, and that's one key aspect of Truth and Reconciliation, where it would help families find closure, and also that commission to pinpoint exactly who was the culprit and who needs to be punished as far as this is concerned. But to have a situation where uh, complete banishment of one particular community or society, that is not what is feasible, and that is not what the center or the Supreme Court for that matter has asked for. So the key takeaways from Supreme Court's verdict today on Jammu and Kashmir remains elections in Jammu and Kashmir by 2024 September month, restore J&K statehood at the earliest, abrogation of Article 370 is upheld. It was not a bad decision. It was not with malified intention. That's what Supreme Court said. And also says, the Supreme Court says that the Supreme Court upholds carving out of Ladakh as separate union territory. So Ladakh remains a union territory, very much part of India. And as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, well, there has been a new hope, and as far as the verdict is concerned, uh, the Supreme Court has given a very clear demarcation of how things stand as of now. State of Jammu and Kashmir does not retain any element of sovereignty. It does not have any internal sovereignty. Article 370, a feature of asymmetric federation, federalism, and not sovereignty. So, hence, this while Supreme Court, while giving the reasons that why it is asking for the restoration of the restoration of the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, there must be some good reason for it. Supreme Court says that Article 370, whose revocation was justified, it had no malafide intention, it was needed. Now, since it has served its purpose, and it was mainly for giving an asymmetric federalism to the Jammu and Kashmir, it was required, but it is still not complete sovereignty. For that complete sovereignty, it needs to have a constituent assembly, and the elections should happen as soon as possible, and the statehood should be restored. So, this is how it stands as of now, and needless to say, we have a lot of uh, uh, verdicts as of now that has come with a lot of meaning to it, a lot of uh, depth to it. And if you know how we reached till this point of time, abrogation of Article 370, the Supreme Court gave the time today for December 11th on the government's move of 2019 to amend Article 370 of the Constitution. The abrogation ended with the announcement by the Home Minister Amit Shah. Karan Singh has spoken. Let's listen in to what he has to say. Karan Singh.
There will be a large section of people, how large I cannot say, but a section of people in J&K who will not be happy with this judgment. Who will be very unhappy. To them, my sincere advice is that they should accept the inevitable. And they should accept the fact that now this has been done and the Supreme Court has upheld the action. And therefore, there is no point now unnecessarily hitting their head against the wall. Now, my suggestion is that they should turn their energies towards fighting the next elections. That is where the people should now be motivated instead of any negativity developing. That is my personal, as not only a well-wisher of the state, as the state itself, as you know, my name was mentioned in the judgment. Without that proclamation, the rest of the things wouldn't have been done. So, you know, I am very much part of it. So, as a state person myself, I'd like to urge that people should now accept this gracefully. Thank you.
Sir, there are many leaders. There are many leaders, sir, who is saying that we are under house arrest, sir. How do you?
My dear boy, I'm in my own house now. I have no idea what's happening. I cannot comment on that.
And then we heard it, Karan Singh, the son of Hari Singh. Hari Singh was one who had signed the declaration that it wants Jammu Kashmir would be staying with the Republic of India. And that was the time when we had seen 1948 was the time when Pakistani mercenaries and, with the Pakistani forces had also come from the Pakistani side and had waged a war against India. And Hari Singh's son, Karan Singh, clearly mentioning that the decision from the Supreme Court as of now, most welcome. And also for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, this means a lot as far as the elections are concerned. BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, JP Nadda spoke a short while ago saying that he welcomes the decision given by Supreme Court on Article 370. JP Nadda tweeted saying, माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय द्वारा धारा 370 के विषय में दिए गए फैसले का भारतीय जनता पार्टी स्वागत करती है. And then he says that इसके लिए मैं और हमारे करोड़ों कार्यकर्ता प्रधानमंत्री जी का हृदय से आभार करते हैं. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सरकार ने जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में देश की मुख्य विचारधारा से जोड़ने का एक ऐतिहासिक काम किया है. So adding to the mainstream, that's one key aspect where this whole idea of abrogation of 370 was concerned. And the voices that challenged it mentioned that historically the constituent thoughts of tenets of Jammu and Kashmir could not have been changed. But because the time was needed, so much so for the government of India also to make preparations for the phase-wise removal of Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir, and also uh, later on restoring the statehood. That was something that the government was working on. Time and again, we have heard the Home Minister Amit Shah speaking in the Assembly, speaking in the Parliament, saying that a special status removal of Jammu and Kashmir is not a permanent thing. Twice or thrice he has mentioned, and he said that the statehood would be restored soon. But behind the scenes were the works of delimitation going on, which is very important as far as the assembly allocation is concerned for the elections to happen. Likewise, when it comes to the rights of the people also, that is something that was also needed to be looked into. Security aspect, one very key aspect, how it has to be maintained, the role of police, the role of army there. Supreme Court Chief Justice of India saying that the uh, the situation was warlike in Jammu and Kashmir, and hence it was important to revoke the Article 370, the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. The CGI also speaks about the reorganization of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, that followed the revocation of Article 370. He says that in view of the center's submission that the UT status is temporary, the court doesn't find it necessary to determine if the reorganization of the union territories is valid. So it was taken on the face value by the Supreme Court that the decision or the center submission that the UT status is temporary, it needed no second look, no second opinion on that. So that was one aspect of it. And the reorganization of Ladakh as union territory is upheld. Also, the Supreme Court directed that restoration of statehood of Jammu and Kashmir shall take place at the earliest, and steps shall be taken by the Election Commission of India to conduct elections to the Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir by September 30th, 2024. This is, once again, the takeaways if we talk about how the readings of the Supreme Court has been interpreted. This is how, we are telling you on what does it mean and what does it entail as far as it has been given the special status and then ultimately revocation of it in 2019. The CGI said that sovereignty is missing in Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir has become an integral part of India from the time it was adopted and recognized as a state. This is evident from Article 1 and 370 of the Constitution of India. Social media abuzz with a lot of reactions coming in. And Sagarika Mitra says, thank you, Supreme Court. Article 370 can never and will never come back. Posting pictures from Lal Chowk. Finally, it's final. Ayodhya, hashtag Ayodhya, Ram Mandir, Kashmir, both belong to Bharat, India. As per Constitution, law of the land has taken its course. Big thank you, Supreme Court, to uphold abrogation and accept the existence of Ram Lalla. Ram Kaushik says that. Now, the main points as of now, which has been taken from these the decision that has come from Supreme Court that elections in Jammu and Kashmir will be held by September 2024. Restoration of Jammu and Kashmir's statehood to be done at the earliest. The abrogation of Article 370, which was the primary reason for the petitions to be filed. It has been upheld, and the government of India has been found on the right footing as far as the decision of abrogation of Article 370 is concerned. Last but not the least, the Supreme Court also upheld the carving up out of the separate union territory of Ladakh. So four basically, tenets, four points that have come out of this hearing as of now from the Supreme Court. We can quickly take a listen to what Karan Singh had to say. Karan Singh comes from the royal family of Hari Singh, who were the owners at that time of the Jammu and Kashmir post-independence. And let's listen in what Karan Singh had to say on this Supreme Court verdict.
There will be a large section of people, how large I cannot say, but a section of people in J&K who will not be happy with this judgment, who will be very unhappy. To them, my sincere advice is that they should accept the inevitable, and they should accept the fact that now this has been done and the Supreme Court has upheld the action, and therefore there is no point now unnecessarily hitting their head against the wall. Now my suggestion is that they should turn their energies towards fighting the next elections. That is where the people should now be motivated instead of any negativity developing. That is my personal, as not only a well-wisher of the state, as the state itself, as you know, my name was mentioned in the judgment. Without that proclamation, the rest of the things wouldn't have been done. So, you know, I am very much part of it. So as a state person myself, I'd like to urge that people should now accept this gracefully. Thank you.
So there are many leaders, sir, who is saying that we are under house arrest, sir. How do you?
My dear boy, I'm in my own house now. I have no idea what's happening. I cannot comment on that.
So there we heard Karan Singh speaking to the media and giving his views. As far as the Supreme Court verdict today is concerned, obviously Supreme Court said all provisions of the Constitution can be applied to Jammu and Kashmir to 371D. The Supreme Court also said that Article 370 was meant for the constitutional integration of Jammu and Kashmir with the Union, and it was not disintegration of and the president can declare that Article 370 ceases to exist. So a lot of dimensions to this verdict. Supreme Court saying Article 370 was meant for the constitutional integration of Jammu and Kashmir with the Union, and it was not disintegration, and the president can declare that Article 370 ceases to exist. Sheikh Qayyum, senior journalist from Kashmir, joins us. Qayyum Saab, thank you so much for speaking to us. Bada Faisla hai, it's a big day. How do you read it personally, this decision?
See, as I will tell you first, as a journalist and as a Kashmiri,
Yeah.
the good thing is that it's a unanimous decision of the Supreme Court, and the learned judges have gone through every pro and con of the issue, and they have delivered a considered learned judgment, which is in consonance with the Constitution and the law of the country, and every one of us has to respect the judgment. And the judges have already said that they would not be concerned about what happened in J&K after August 5, 2019. That would not be development, and other issues would not be considered. They were only going into the legality and the constitutionality of the presidential order, and whether Article 370 could be abrogated in absence of a constituent assembly. The Supreme Court has held that it could be abrogated, that the Parliament of India is supreme to any other legislature in the country, and that the president did not act in any way, in any malified manner, to pass on the order. So they have held it rightly that the decision is unanimous, and therefore there is no doubt about its legality, constitutionality, and morality.
Right.
So
Now,
every Indian has to respect it, and every
right.
Indian should be happy about the decision.
So this is your opinion as a journalist and as
And
a
as a Kashmiri also, I am saying the suspense that loomed around this place,
Mhm.
whether whatever was done after August 5, 2019
Mhm.
would be reversed, or whether the things here would go back and we would have to start from square one. That
Mhm.
suspense is over. Now politics can continue at its own place. But the
Right.
integration of the state with the rest of the country is complete and total.
Hmm. Qayyum Saab, there are several reactions also coming from political fraternity, and Shiv Sena is saying that we welcome this decision, but the things like rehabilitation of Hindus, putting an end to terrorism, making the people of Jammu and Kashmir join the mainstream has not happened yet. Is it going to start
See,
now?
my point is very simple. If we are
Mhm.
discussing only the judgment of the Supreme Court,
Right.
the rehabilitation of the migrants or the
Uh-huh.
ending of the terrorism was not an issue which was before the Honorable Supreme Court. The
Okay.
Honorable Supreme Court was just going into two things: whether
Mhm.
Article 370 was constitutionally abrogated, number two, whether the reorganization of the state was
Mhm.
right or wrong. So the judges did not go into whether this would end the secessionist struggle here, whether the Indianization of Kashmir is complete or not. They were totally going according to the constitution of the country, and they were going according to the principles of integration of the Union of India. So the Shiv Sena
Mhm.
is saying that they complete wiping out of the terrorism is to take place. That is okay. Everybody
Mhm.
would be happy if terrorism is wiped out. But
Mhm.
such things are, mind you, such things are easier said than done.
True.
You don't wipe out. See, if a gun enters a society, it doesn't happen overnight that you hear the last rattle. It's
Right.
just 2 days before they shot a innocent police constable
I know.
when he was going home after the duties. And
Mm.
then,
Mr. Saab.
when gun enters into a society, it becomes a criminalization also takes place. Gun is not only used for separatism, gun is also used to settle personal scores.
True.
So we
Right.
can't wait for the last gun to be silenced and then say Kashmir would be integrated with India. The
Mm-hmm.
integration is a process which is to continue, which has continued and is now completed. And silencing of the last gun is a security issue for which our security agencies are competent enough to deal with.
Right.
And this issue should be left to them. And as far as
Absolutely.
politics is concerned, every political party will try to see it from its political prism.
Right. Right. Also, Qayyum Saab, talking about elections by September 30th, 2024. Preparations, how do we see it?
Elections, see, general elections are anyway to be held before that.
Yes.
So there is
Mhm.
nothing more to be done in a general election than is to be done in an assembly election, although security has to be more in an assembly election.
Is there delimitation aspect also there for assembly elections?
No, no, no. So delimitation is over. That has been done
Sure.
and cut and
Yes.
dried. So we
Okay.
have 90 seats in the state now. In the state
Mm-hmm.
assembly now, delimitation is complete. So
Okay.
delimitation has already come into effect.
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
whenever we go to vote for the state assembly, we will be voting for 90 assembly seats.
That's true. Okay, lovely. And as far as the political members are concerned in this Jammu and Kashmir, I mean, we just heard rumors which were driven away by Manoj Sinha also, the governor, that several political leaders were taken under house arrest. Was that any? Is that anything that you are picking up from the ground there in
There
Kashmir?
was, see, I will tell you one thing.
Hmm.
I will tell you, it's always, see, a politician can be taken out of politics, but you can't take politics out of a politician. So they will try to draw their
I
mileage
understand. I understand.
that
Yes.
I am under house arrest. Then what would happen if she would not be under house arrest? What would the heavens come down? If she
Mm-hmm.
were under house arrest, nothing would happen. If she were not under house
Nothing,
arrest, nothing will happen.
nothing would happen. So yeah,
And I
okay,
am telling you, I am this time in the middle of the city and life is going on as normally as it could ever go in Srinagar.
right. So as a day-to-day Kashmiris, how do they find these developments happening in the Supreme Court? Is there some sort of anxiety? या कुछ
See,
मन में
I will tell
सवाल
you one thing.
है?
If I were to tell you that I will give you a special status in your home, you would love to take it. But once
Well,
anybody would love to take it.
yes, yes.
Why wouldn't a Kashmiri want special status within the Union of India? He would is a natural craving. But the point is, when the larger interest of the country comes into being, you have to behave as a member of the larger society, and you all have to be one among equals. So that Kashmiri has learned over a period of time that he is as good an Indian citizen as one in Delhi or Mumbai. So there is nothing special or there is nothing wrong about being an Indian citizen. That is a Kashmiri is now reconciled to that fact that his future, his life, his prosperity, education, everything lies within the four walls of Indian Constitution and within the geographical borders of this country.
True. Qayyum Saab, one final question. 2019, 5th of August, I believe it was when the Home Minister announced in the Parliament that Article 370 will be abrogated. Special status is gone for Jammu and Kashmir. Since then, a lot has happened. Broadly looking at it, do you see that from that day till now, change happening in Kashmir, in the mindset, on the roads?
Absolutely, absolutely. I am telling you, a paradigm, a narrative has shifted.
Okay.
The narrative that Kashmir you could continue to fight to break away from India, that narrative is over.
Okay.
That narrative is over. You will have to grant them this. I am telling you, you have to grant BJP this thing. And then we thought that there would be bloodshed, there would be agitation, there would be nothing happened. So you can't tell me that everybody was kept under a tight leash. You can't keep an entire place under tight leash. Kashmir has about 70 lakh or more than 70 lakh population. You can't tell me that the police constable was placed at the head of every one person out of. So they accepted it. Generally, they accepted it and they have learned to live with it. They are doing progress. Our children are reading outside. They are getting into the coveted civil services. Our doctors are getting laurels outside the country. And Kashmiris are looking forward to having a prosperous, glorious future within the Indian four walls.
Best wishes, best wishes. Also, one key aspect, sir, I know you are also headed to some place. The aspect of security. Do you believe that since the abrogation, the general public and the general sense is that they are more safe and secure, or is it still the same?
I am telling you, 2 crore tourists have come here during the last 2 years. How did they come? How did Kashmiris open their homes for the tourists? Unless there was sense of security, I wouldn't be talking to you. I would be worried because I am talking to you from downtown Srinagar. So this was once supposed to be the hotbed of separatism.
True.
So sense of security is there and practical sense of security is there on ground.
Right. Qayyum Saab, final words. What message would you give to the political fraternity, if I may ask you, on this legal day?
Political fraternity, you do your politics, but please don't do politics on dead bodies. Do your politics, do politics for the better of Kashmir, do politics for the better of the country. Don't try to put us into the reverse gear. We have already lost much for during the last 70 years being put into the reverse gear.
Right. Sheikh Qayyum Saab, thank you so much for speaking to One India News. Always appreciate your inputs. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Good day.
Thank you. Sheikh Qayyum Saab, their senior journalist from Srinagar, mentioning what does it mean, the Supreme Court verdict, and why it is important for Jammu and Kashmir to have the statehood, first of all, and secondly, the use of the removal of Article 370. What purpose did it serve? And now, with the government removing it, is also very important as far as the Supreme Court's decision is concerned. Now, let's very quickly, before we are joined by Rajiv Chunni and Kapil Sankla on the show, let's listen into what Karan Singh had to say a short while ago.
There will be a large section of people, how large I cannot say, but a section of people in J&K who will not be happy with this judgment, who will be very unhappy. To them, my sincere advice is that they should accept the inevitable, and they should accept the fact that now this has been done and the Supreme Court has upheld the action, and therefore there is no point now unnecessarily hitting their head against the wall. Now my suggestion is that they should turn their energies towards fighting the next elections. That is where the people should now be motivated instead of any negativity developing. That is my personal, as not only a well-wisher of the state, as the state itself, as you know, my name was mentioned in the judgment. Without that proclamation, the rest of the things wouldn't have been done. So, you know, I am very much part of it. So as a state person myself, I'd like to urge that people should now accept this gracefully. Thank you.
Sir, there are many leaders, sir, who is saying that we are under house arrest, sir. How do you?
My dear boy, I'm in my own house now. I have no idea what's happening. I cannot comment on that.
और आम नागरिकों के लिए सर, जिस तरीके से फैसला आया है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है कि जो 370 हटाया गया वो वैध था, आपकी क्या पहली प्रतिक्रिया क्या है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले पर सर?
मेरी पहली प्रतिक्रिया तो ये है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बहुत बारीकी से हर एक विषय को देखा है। जो मैंने सुना चीफ जस्टिस जो पढ़ रहे थे, उसमें एक एक क्लॉज, एक एक सब क्लॉज को उन्होंने देखा है और सब परिस्थितियां देखते हुए उन्होंने एक नतीजे पर पहुंचे हैं। मैं उसका स्वागत करता हूं, क्योंकि बहुत दिनों से ये बात हवा में थी, तो अब कम से कम स्पष्ट हो गया है कि जो हुआ वो वैध था। राजनीतिक रूप से चाहे कोई समझे कि नहीं होना चाहिए था, वो बात और है, लेकिन लीगल दृष्टिकोण से, न्यायिक दृष्टिकोण से वो वैध है। एक तो बात ही हो गई। दूसरी दो बातें बड़ी अच्छी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कही। मैं तो चंद्रचूड़ जी को, सुप्रीम कोर्ट को बधाई देता हूं। एक तो उन्होंने कहा कि जल्द से जल्द हमारी स्टेटहुड फिर से मिलनी चाहिए। मैं आरंभ से कह रहा था कि जो जम्मू कश्मीर को काट के दो हिस्से में करके और इसको यूनियन टेरिटरी बना दिया, वो हमें स्वीकार नहीं था, किसी को भी, किसी के गले से नहीं उतर रही थी। क्योंकि जम्मू कश्मीर एक बहुत विशेष राज्य था। पहले कहते थे ये मुकुट है, ये भारतवर्ष का ये है, और मुकुट क्या रहा, फिर हरियाणा और हिमाचल से भी नीचे आ गए, यूनियन टेरिटरी बन गए। तो वो जल्द से जल्द, मैं समझता हूँ, मेरी मोदी जी से भी यही प्रार्थना होगी कि अब वो जल्द से जल्द राज्य का दर्जा दे दें। ये जरूरी नहीं कि पहले चुनाव हो फिर उसके बाद राज्य का दर्जा दिया जाए, बल्कि अगर चुनाव हो तो राज्य के लिए हो, यूनियन टेरिटरी के लिए क्यों हो। तो दूसरी बात ये बनती है कि भाई इन्होंने ये कहा और फिर उन्होंने ये कहा कि चुनाव हो जाने चाहिए सितंबर 2004। वो भी बहुत अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि बड़ी देर से चुनाव नहीं हुए हैं और कुछ से लगता था कि ये लोग कुछ इसको आगे चलाने की कोशिश की जा रही थी। तो ठीक है, अगले साल तक उन्होंने कार्य दे दिया, समय दे दिया है। ये मैं कहूँगा इसके बारे में मेरी प्रतिक्रिया। एक बात मैं इसमें और कह दूं, मुझे पता है कि जम्मू कश्मीर के कुछ लोगों को ये निर्णय अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, क्योंकि मेरी उनसे राय है, उनके हमदर्द होने के नाते, क्योंकि मैं भी तो जम्मू कश्मीर का ही हूँ। हमारा सारा अगर राज्य उभरा तो जम्मू कश्मीर की वजह से उभरा। तो उनसे मेरी प्रार्थना है कि अब वो इसको स्वीकार कर लें। अब कोई विरोध करने का लाभ नहीं है। अब वो राजनीति के लिए तैयार हो जाए। जब चुनाव हो तो चुनाव डट के लड़े, तो अपनी शक्ति जो है वो चुनाव में लगाएं, बजाय इसके कि इसके विरोधात्मक कार्यक्रम करें। ये मेरी उनसे व्यक्तिगत प्रार्थना है। और मैं जानता हूं कि कई लोग बहुत दुखी होंगे, कई लोग बहुत प्रसन्न होंगे, कई लोग बहुत दुखी होंगे। लेकिन अब विश्व में कई बातें होती है जीवन में जो अच्छी भी लगती हैं, लोगों को बुरी भी लगती हैं। तो इसको अब स्वीकार कर लेना चाहिए सबको अच्छे हृदय से, ताकि जो बदमज़गी है, जो एक कड़वाहट हो गई है, वो दूर हो जाए और जम्मू कश्मीर के लोग फिर से हम आंगी से और खुश असलूबी से, प्रसन्नता से आपस में मिलकर रहें।
सर, क्योंकि